You know that feeling, just that constant weight when you're dealing with debt.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like you're just, stuck, treading water financially.
It really does. But there are ways to move past just coping, you know, to actually get ahead.
Right, like finding a clear path forward towards actually feeling free financially.
Exactly. It's about looking at real strategies,
Yeah.
stuff that actually works to tackle that debt. Getting a structured approach, really, based on solid financial ideas.
That sounds crucial because if you feel like your money's controlling you, not the other way around, well, understanding how to change that is everything. So, where do you even start when you're looking at all that debt?
Okay, so the absolute first step,
Yeah.
you need a completely clear, honest look at exactly where things stand right now.
No hiding from it.
None. You have to map out your entire debt landscape. Think of it like a financial inventory.
Okay, so we're talking more than just knowing you owe money. You mean listing out every single debt.
Precisely. Every
Yeah.
credit card, yeah.
Mm,
Personal loans, student loans, car payments, the mortgage,
yeah.
anything you owe. And just the name isn't enough.
Right. What details do you need for each one?
Okay, so obviously the creditor. The original loan amount is good for context, but the number you really need for planning is the current balance.
Ah, what you owe today.
Exactly. That's your starting line. Then the interest rate, the APR. Super important. And the minimum payment you have to make each month, plus the due date, you need all that info.
I see. Without that map, you're just guessing.
Pretty much. You can't plan effectively without knowing the terrain.
And adding up all those current balances, I bet that final number can be a bit of a shock.
It can definitely be eye-opening, yeah. Calculating the grand total, it might feel daunting at first, but seeing that number, honestly, it often becomes a motivator.
Really? How so?
It just makes the whole challenge concrete. You see the scale, and suddenly that goal of getting to zero feels more, well, real,
Hmm.
tangible.
Okay, that makes sense. And the interest rates, you said they're super important. Why focus so much on the APR?
Well, this is where the math really hits you. High interest debt, like especially credit cards, it just eats away at you.
Because of compounding.
Exactly. Interest builds up so fast, particularly if you're only managing the minimum payments. A high APR means most of your payment is just covering interest, not even touching the amount you borrowed.
So you feel like you're running in place.
You basically are.
Right.
Knowing those rates helps you see which debts are hurting you the most financially. That's key for deciding where to focus first.
So it's the cost of the debt, not just the amount. Are there other, hidden terms to watch out for?
Yeah, definitely look at the fine print for each loan. Are there penalties if you pay it off early? What happens if you're late? Fees. Understanding that stuff can save you extra headaches and money.
Okay. And what about your credit score in all this?
Good question. Your credit score isn't something you use directly to pay the debt, but it reflects your history, right? It's part of the bigger picture.
And it affects future borrowing.
Exactly. It can influence rates if you need to refinance later or get another loan. So knowing your score is good context, but it's not the first tactical move against your current debt.
Got it. So first, face the music, get all the details down. Then what? How do you go from just knowing about the debt to actually, doing something?
That's the pivot point. You take all that information, that clear picture, and you build your plan. A realistic step-by-step blueprint for getting out of debt.
And I'm guessing a budget is pretty central to that blueprint.
Foundational.
Yeah.
Absolutely non-negotiable. You have to know where your money is going each month to manage debt effectively.
Tracking everything, like coffees, subscriptions, the lot.
Everything. You categorize it, fixed costs, rent, minimum loan payments, that sort of thing, and variable costs, groceries, gas, entertainment, clothes.
And the point of all that tracking, besides making you feel guilty about lattes?
Well, the real point is finding the surplus.
Say extra cash.
Exactly. The money left over after essentials and minimum payments. That surplus is your weapon against debt. Every extra dollar you can find and throw at your debt speeds things up massively.
So budgeting isn't just about restriction, it's about finding the ammunition.
That's a great way to put it. Identifying and directing that surplus is what really makes a difference.
Okay, so you found some surplus cash. Now, how do you decide where to aim it? This is where those famous methods come in, right? Snowball and avalanche.
That's right. Two main strategies, each with a different philosophy.
Let's start with the debt snowball. How does that one work?
Okay, with the snowball, you forget interest rates for a moment. You just list your debts from the smallest balance to the largest.
Smallest amount owed first.
Right. Then you pay the minimum on everything except that smallest debt. You take all your extra money, your surplus, and you hammer away at that smallest one until it's gone. Poof.
Okay.
Then here's the key part. You take the money you were paying on that now-gone debt, the minimum, plus all the extra, and you add it to the minimum payment of the next smallest debt.
Ah, so the payment amount snowballs as you go.
Precisely. You keep rolling that freed-up payment amount onto the next smallest debt each time you pay one off.
And the big appeal here is the psychology, right? Getting those quick wins.
Totally. Seeing debts disappear, even small ones, feels really good. It gives you momentum, keeps you motivated. For people who need that regular dose of, I'm making progress, it can be super effective.
Okay, that makes sense. So snowball is about momentum. What about the debt avalanche? How's that different?
Avalanche is all about the math, pure efficiency. Here, you list your debts by interest rate, highest APR down to the lowest.
Highest cost first.
Exactly. You pay minimums on everything except the debt with the highest interest rate. All your surplus cash goes to attacking that one.
Get rid of the most expensive debt first.
Right. Once it's paid off, you take its total payment minimum plus the extra, and you roll that onto the debt with the next highest interest rate.
And the advantage here is saving money.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mathematically, the avalanche method will always save you the most money on interest over the total repayment period. You tackle the most damaging debt first.
So you pay less in the long run.
Correct, if you stick with it. So the choice really comes down to your personality. Do you need the quick wins of the snowball to stay motivated? Or can you stick with the avalanche knowing it's the most financially efficient path?
You really have to know yourself. And setting smaller goals along the way probably helps with either method.
Oh, definitely. Breaking that big total debt number down into smaller milestones is huge. Like maybe your first goal is just paying off one specific card. Or getting the total under, say, $10,000.
Little victories.
Exactly. Keeps you from feeling overwhelmed and gives you something to celebrate. Keeps the momentum going.
Okay, so you've got the picture, you've got the budget finding extra cash, you've picked your strategy, snowball or avalanche. How do you kick things into a higher gear, really speed it up?
Right, now we're talking accelerators. Ways to go beyond just the basic plan. Boosters, basically.
And the most straightforward one is just get more money.
Pretty much. Increasing your income is the most direct route.
Yeah.
Can you pick up a side gig, work some overtime, sell stuff you don't need anymore?
Like decluttering for cash.
Exactly. Even asking for a raise if it's justified. The absolute key, though, is that any extra money you bring in goes straight towards that priority debt, whichever one your plan targets.
Don't let it just get absorbed into spending.
Critical point. Avoid that lifestyle creep. Give the money a job immediately attacking debt.
Okay, so boosting income. What about the other side? Cutting spending even more aggressively.
Yeah, this is going beyond basic budgeting. Really scrutinizing those variable expenses.
Yeah.
Can you cut back more on dining out? Entertainment. Are there subscriptions you barely use?
Even small cuts add up.
They really do. Consistently over time.
Yeah.
It might mean some temporary sacrifices, yeah. But that freed up cash can shave months, even years, off your debt repayment time. Short-term pain for long-term gain.
And like you mentioned, selling assets, things lying around the house.
Absolutely. That old furniture in the basement, the extra TV, clothes you never wear. Selling that stuff can generate quick cash lump sums to throw directly at the debt principal. Plus, you declutter.
Win-win. Okay, what about trying to change the debt terms themselves? Can you actually negotiate with creditors?
Sometimes, yes. Especially with high-interest credit cards. It's definitely worth a call. Explain you're committed to paying it off. Ask if they can lower your interest rate, maybe even just for a while.
Really? They might do that.
They might.
Yeah.
If you're facing genuine hardship, ask about hardship programs too. They'd often rather work with you and get something than risk getting nothing if you default. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Good point. Now, what about those bigger tools like debt consolidation or balance transfers? People hear about those a lot.
They do, and they can be useful accelerators, but you have to be really careful. They come with big warnings.
Okay, let's unpack them. First, a debt consolidation loan.
Right. This is where you take out one new loan to pay off several other debts, usually things like credit cards or smaller loans. The idea is to get one single, hopefully lower interest rate and just one monthly payment.
Simplifies things, maybe lowers the total interest.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
If the new loan's interest rate is genuinely lower than the average of what you were paying, and you factor in any fees.
Okay. And balance transfer credit cards.
That's moving high interest balances from existing cards onto a new card that offers 0% interest for an introductory period, could be a year, 18 months, sometimes longer.
So an interest-free window to pay down debt.
Exactly. But big caveats. There are usually balance transfer fees, like 3–5% of the amount you move, and you have to know what the interest rate will be after that 0% period ends. It's often very high.
So you need a plan to pay it off before the real rate kicks in.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
If you don't pay off most or all of it during the intro period, you could end up worse off with a huge interest rate. It's only a good deal if you use that 0% window aggressively.
Got it. And refinancing existing loans, like a mortgage or student loans.
Similar idea. You get a new loan to replace the old one, aiming for a lower interest rate or better terms. Could lower your monthly payment or let you pay it off faster if you keep payments the same. Again, check fees and make sure the math works out in your favor.
It sounds like the main danger with all these tools, consolidation, transfers, refinancing is what?
The single biggest risk is falling back into old habits. You consolidate your cards, suddenly you have zero balances again. Or refinancing lowers your monthly payments, freeing up cash. If you haven't changed the spending behaviors that got you into debt,
You just run up the cards again.
exactly, you end up with a consolidation loan plus new debt. These tools help manage existing debt. They don't fix underlying spending issues. Discipline is absolutely key. They accelerate the past. They don't guarantee the future.
That's a really crucial warning. Okay, let's say you've done the hard work. You've used these strategies, maybe some accelerators, and you've actually paid off the debt, or most of it. What happens next? How do you stay free?
Right, the focus shifts completely now. It's about maintenance and building wealth, not just fighting debt. It still takes discipline for different reasons.
So what's job number one after that last debt payment clears?
Build or beef up your emergency fund. Priority number one, no question.
How much are we talking?
The standard advice is aiming for 3 to 6 months worth of your essential living expenses. Needs to be in savings, easily accessible,
Why is that so vital?
because life happens, right? Job loss, medical bill, car breaks down. Without that cushion, an unaccepted event can force you right back into borrowing money, back into debt. It's your financial shock absorber, your security net.
It prevents backsliding. Okay.
And the budget. Does that go out the window now?
No way. Budgeting is still crucial. It just changes purpose. It's not about finding money for debt anymore. It's about directing your money.
Towards what? Towards your new goals. Savings, investments, retirement contributions, maybe a down payment fund. You keep tracking your cash flow so you can intentionally allocate money to build wealth and reach future milestones. It keeps you in the driver's seat.
So it becomes a tool for building, not just surviving, which leads to that fundamental idea.
Living below your means. Simple concept, but powerful. Consistently spending less than you earn.
It sounds basic, but it's everything, isn't it?
It really is. It's the bedrock of stability. It's what creates the surplus you need to save, invest, and build real, lasting wealth. It requires conscious choices, yes, but it's the core equation for financial freedom.
Spending less than you make. A lifelong practice. What keeps the motivation going once the debt emergency is over?
Setting new goals, exciting ones. Shift your focus. Maybe it's hitting a certain retirement savings number, saving for a big trip, starting a side business you're passionate about, investing. Clear goals give your money purpose again.
Gives it a positive job to do.
Exactly. Keeps you engaged and moving forward.
And this whole money thing, it's not something you just figure out once and you're done, right?
Definitely not. Personal finance is dynamic. Keep learning. Read about investing. Tax strategies change. New financial products emerge. The more you know, the smarter the decisions you can make to protect and grow your money. Continuous education is key.
Stay curious. And finally, checking in regularly.
Essential. Do a financial checkup periodically. Review your budget. See how you're tracking towards your goals. Life circumstances change. Income might go up or down. Goals might evolve. Regular reviews let you adjust your plan and stay on course.
So it's really a cycle. Understand where you are, make a plan, accelerate if possible, then build habits and new goals to stay free and grow.
That sums it up nicely.
Yeah.
It's commitment, yeah. And consistent effort, sometimes tough choices short-term. But the payoff? Less stress, more control, real security. It's huge.
It really is a long game. Makes you think. If living below your means and always learning about finance are the real keys to staying debt-free and actually building wealth, how could changing your spending habits and boosting your financial knowledge today really transform where you are financially years down the road?